This is the Dallas Morning News.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.
Hello and welcome to Eat, Drink, DFW, the podcast from the Dallas Morning News food team. Each week we take a look at the biggest food and drink stories in North Texas, talk about restaurants in Dallas-Fort Worth, learn some new recipes, and get tips from you, our listeners. I'm Claire Baller, a food reporter at the Dallas Morning News, and today we've got a whole bunch of new restaurant openings that are soon to come your way. We're also going to dive into a restaurant practice some diners love and others hate. So stick with us. That's all coming up right after this.
Central Market is really into food, like fish flown in so fresh it still has jet lag into food. Our sourdough starter has been around since grunge was a thing into food. We're talking more prime cuts than a greatest hits album into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then we're the HQ for you, whether you're a make every recipe in the cookbook foodie or a my favorite recipe is reheat type who just digs the delectable. No place makes every day more delicious like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
For the latest food and restaurant news in Dallas-Fort Worth, visit dallasnews.com/food. And we love to hear from you, so email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. I'm joined today by my colleagues Imelda Garcia and Sarah Blaskovich, and we've got a lot of ground to cover today, so let's get right into it. Sarah, you have news for us about two new restaurants, one of which you just visited. What can you tell us about it?
I'd like to start with a new diner called AM/FM in the Dallas Design District.
Like the radio.
Like the radio station. Yes, Imelda. And there is a serious synergy here because the owners of AM/FM have been concert promoters for 15 years in Dallas. They run a company called Spoon, SPUNE, and they rep indie bands, hundreds, if not more of them, all around the region. So they decided to take over the former Ferris Wheelers in the Design District, in part because there's a music venue in the back already. There's a big backyard with picnic tables and, as the name suggests, a Ferris wheel that does not operate but just lights up at night and makes the whole backyard concert venue feel very cool, kind of Austin, if you will. Now, in the front was a barbecue restaurant, and they have reinvented this as AM/FM, a diner. Now, I want to pause and say, I think Dallas needs more diners. And to me, diner says two things, and tell me if you guys agree. One, diner says affordable, right? It says that you can come there, not spend a ton of money, and eat something that's going to make you feel good. Two, diner says all day to me. It says we're going to be open for breakfast, but we're going to stay open well past lunch. And all of those things are true at AM/FM. So it is an all-day breakfast spot, but there's also, grilled cheese and soup and meatloaf, a veggie burger. The idea here at AM/FM is that the menu is created for traveling musicians, some which have dietary restrictions. And of course, everybody is welcome at AM/FM. But the idea of the menu was created around people not at home, looking for homey food that will make them feel cozy and comfortable.
Sarah, I was very curious about this, and I saw that Chef Anastasia Quiñones-Pittman is the one creating the menu. And I think that elevates the whole concept of the menu.
It sure does.
I saw these masa pancakes made with blue masa and cream chicken enchilada pot pie. I mean,
delicious sounding, right?
Yes.
And for listeners who might be thinking that chef sounds familiar, she often goes by Chef AQ, and she was behind Jose on Lovers for a long time.
That's right. And anybody who knew her food at Jose will see inklings of it on the AM/FM menu, but in a much more casual format. So huevos rancheros, chilaquiles, a French toast, but different than the one I've ever had at a diner. This one has sweet potato and candied pecans on it. Avocado toast, but with egg and salsa matcha. So I just think that this restaurant sounds, in a world of expensive food, first of all, it sounds affordable. And second of all, it just sounds like you can be anybody with any kind of eating preference, and you can come and find something that will make you happy.
And like you said, it sounds like it's going to level up Dallas's diner scene, which I think people have been really craving.
Totally. Yeah. My last favorite thing about this restaurant is that the owners explained that any time of day, they want somebody to get the food they want then. If a musician's day starts at 2 p.m., but they're a breakfast person, you can have breakfast at 2 p.m. as a musician. That just speaks to me. Like, have it your way, be who you are.
Sarah, you also recently wrote about a new Mediterranean restaurant that's coming to the Design District later this year. What do you know about that one and the timing of it?
Well, first, I know that if you're going to open a Mediterranean restaurant in Dallas, it should start with an A. We have Avra already. The one you just asked me about, Claire, is Abba. And another one coming to the Design District is Alara. Wow. So Avra, Abba, and Alara are on deck. And if you want to open another restaurant in this similar cuisine, I have 2 other examples, Babel and Corsair. So we got A, B, and C. And if you're going to name your restaurant something else, I think you should reconsider it.
Or you can name it with a D.
That's right.
Yeah.
We can keep going through the alphabet. Someday I'll do an A to Z of Mediterranean restaurants. I mean, that might be possible someday because when you think of Mediterranean food, this does not signify a certain country's cuisine. You know, we're just talking about a region of the world. Mediterranean food is a huge umbrella that can include so many different types of food. Much of it seafood, much of it vegetable forward, some of it healthy. Mediterranean is a buzzword for sure for 2026. What you will see at Abba when it opens in late 2026 is 5 different varieties of hummus.
Okay.
Which I'll do that. You know, one with brisket in it, one with spicy garlic, and then a fair amount of vegetables and seafood like I suggested. But there are other Abbas in other cities, including in Austin. And so now Dallas will get one.
The other Mediterranean restaurants that are coming to Design District, are those all out of state as well?
At least 2 of the highest profile ones are, Claire. So Avra is famously from New York City, but there are other locations elsewhere. And then Abba started in Chicago and moved to Nashville and to Austin and now to Dallas. It is one of many examples of out-of-town restaurants coming to Dallas.
I think that will be an interesting thing to keep an eye on in the Design District of who are these restaurant groups coming in, and are we going to continue to see this trend of them being out-of-towners?
A fair point, Claire, and I think the answer is yes.
All right, speaking of out-of-towners and new restaurants to throw in the mix, I've got one which is Maman. This is a cafe and bakery from New York City that opened its first Texas location in Dallas's Preston Center last November. And we just found out that they're opening a second Dallas location, and that will be in the Casa Linda neighborhood of East Dallas, and it's expected to open later this year. Since I wrote that story, we have found out that another Maman location is coming to Dallas. So this will be their 3rd one that is coming to the Lakewood area. Have either of you guys been to the first Dallas location?
Not yet, but I know that they have this Martha Stewart club sandwich. I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to try it.
I have been a couple of times, stood in the lines at the restaurant because it's very popular. And in fact, last night, my kids and I enjoyed one of their famous chocolate chip cookies after dinner for dessert. And my little tip there is that if you put it in the microwave for 10 or 12 seconds, it gets gooey and delicious.
Great tip. I have not been, but I've heard, Sarah, like you said, that there have been lines. And so I'm not surprised that they are adding, at least that we know of, 2 more locations here because it seems like there's interest. But the very fact that it's only been a few months since they opened their first Texas location here in Dallas, and now we know of at least 2 more that are coming, it seems like they are doing one of those moves that we've seen other out-of-town concepts do, which is this big ramp up of a whole bunch of locations probably soon to come. Sarah, we've seen this with a few other concepts pretty recently too.
Yes, we have. And I'm always fascinated with how you grow a brand. Do you do one and see if it works? And then do you balloon it into 5 or 10? Or do you take the wait and see challenge of you do one and then you wait years before you do many more? This Maman expansion in Dallas reminds me specifically of a sandwich shop that we've talked about called Snarf's. And they have plans to open 5 in DFW within a couple of months of one another. So possibly similar to Maman, and I'm just taking a guess here. They made the decision that opening more is better. You can get the branding out there. You can get your name said a bunch of times. Also, you can get your food made at one central kitchen that can then be sent to all the places. Maman's expansion is really interesting to me because it was so popular when it opened late last year that they are very carefully choosing new neighborhoods, but moving quick.
They are.
Yeah. You know, blink and one might be coming to your neighborhood if it's not one of these 3.
Okay, continuing on this strain of new restaurant openings, Imelda, you have one in Denton.
Yeah, Denton, we have a new sushi place, but this is going to be different and fun, I think. This is Kura Revolving Sushi Bar. And the fun part is the conveyor belt.
Love this.
Yeah, where people can grab their dishes from a conveyor belt. And I don't know, if you want some dish and you didn't pick it up, you have to wait until it makes the whole round of it, praying that nobody took it before you. So this is going to be fun. And if you want something special, there's a screen at your table where you can order a special one. And there's another conveyor belt that will bring that food to you. and there's a robot, guys, a real robot that will deliver your drinks at your table. So this is going to be fun for all those anime fans. And if you have teenagers, this is a great to take them there.
So I've taken my kids to one of these conveyor belt sushi places before, and we sat them near the conveyor belt so that they could carefully take the dishes off. And what I found was that I also really wanted to get to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, at first you're like, hey, there comes some salmon, hand me one of those. And halfway through, I'm just reaching over them because I'm like, well, I want to play.
It's kind of like one of the OG experiential dining concepts.
Yeah.
And this place is going to have prizes for you. So you put your plates in this plate spot to count how many dishes do you eat. And then after several dishes, it provides you with a prize. It can be like a rubber keychain or one of those charms, like anime charms. They are collectible. So even more fun, guys.
Wait, so the more you eat, the more you get?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right.
So this place is going to be in Razor Ranch, this huge commercial development right on 35 and 380, and they will open this spring.
Anyone who thinks this sounds familiar, there are lots of Kura sushis around DFW. I just looked it up, and we have them in Carrollton and Euless and Fort Worth and Frisco and beyond. So we're just getting yet another one in Denton.
We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're getting into our thoughts on a restaurant practice that can be a little divisive amongst diners.
Central Market is really into food. Like when we say cheese, it's in 12 languages into food. Butchers, bakers, and sushi roll makers into food. We're talking so obsessive about quality you can shop blindfolded into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then let us turn your shopping list into a treasure map. Get inspired, get adventurous, or just get a chef-made dinner when you've got more taste buds than time. No place makes every meal more amazing like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
Welcome back. Before we get into it, we want to invite you to rate and review this podcast. It would mean a lot to us, and it helps other listeners find it. All right, Sarah, you brought up something a while ago. You asked us if we like it when restaurants make you order all your food before dinner begins. I'm going to start off by turning this on you. How do you feel about it?
Yes. Okay. So let me explain the experience. You're sitting down, you're looking at the menu, and the server says to you, instead of ordering things one by one or just when, it tickles your fancy, we're going to get your entire order in advance. And then usually the server says something like, I'm going to course it out for you. This is often for nicer restaurants where if you or a group are ordering more than just a couple of things, they want to create an experience around it. So that's what we're talking about here. I bring this up because I was at dinner with 3 other people, so table of 4, and we had really wildly different reactions to this. So it kind of goes one of either way. One is, I'm treating you like children because I, the server, am going to decide how your meal is going to go, how quickly or not quickly you're going to get into and out of this restaurant. I'm in charge, so just let me do my job. That's feeling one. The second feeling is you're in a driverless car and I'm the server who's at the wheel, and I'm helpful and attentive, and I want to make this easy for you, and I want you to have the best culinary journey you possibly can. Now, both experiences, both cars are ending at the same place, which is you eating 6 to 9 courses of food that the server and the chefs have decided are coming in the correct order. But the experience of the people along that journey can be wildly different. And I can actually see both sides. So I'm curious, Imelda and Claire, do you fall into one of those camps, and which one?
I haven't, but I think it's super interesting because you get to have less interaction with the waiter, right?
Yes. Technically, they bring you each dish and then they set it down and say a whole bunch of words about what that pretty dish is, and then they walk away.
I fall in the camp of being a fan of this. It's not something that I take issue with. To me, what it signals is that this is a restaurant that has its stuff together.
Right.
Yeah.
And because the purpose behind it is so that the kitchen is appropriately paced so that everybody can have a good experience. And often you'll see this happen at restaurants that have dishes that take quite some time. Like at Rise, for example, the souffle restaurant that we recently talked about, they have to do it because some of their souffles can take a lot longer than others, and they need to know what you want to eat so that they can cook it and not have you wait forever. I also show up at restaurants pretty much knowing exactly the entirety of what I'm going to order when I arrive.
Yeah.
You've done your homework.
I've done my homework. I keep room to be surprised and delighted if there's something I change my mind about or if there's a special I didn't know of. But generally, I've got my whole order ready to go mentally.
Does this have to do with like expediting the experience so more diners are accommodated?
That's a great question, Imelda. And I think the answer is maybe, but I don't think this is a mean-spirited tactic. This is really to make the culinary experience better for everybody. And I think many or possibly most diners really could use a little bit of a tour guide in order to know, how long we need and where we're going. My personal experience is I'm definitely not put off by it because I understand why we're doing it. That said, I feel as though I'm the kind of diner that would be okay with choosing my own adventure and that I could end up in a fine spot at the end. And what this restriction does is it keeps the dinner from being spontaneous. And I don't like that part because here's how it can go with me. We're going to order 2 or 3 starters. And if we really like something, or if we're like, oh my gosh, that one part is in this other dish, now we need to try that. Like now we're having fun, right? And now I want to halt the entrees for just a second because like, can we order that other one thing or can we get another one? This is when I get really excited about food. And so that excitement does not happen because you've already chosen from the front to the back where you're going. And so I miss the ability to have that choice. But I'll also say that in order to be spontaneous, you also need to be flexible, right? You can't say, I want to tack on all this other stuff, but also I have to relieve my babysitter in 90 minutes. Or I'm going to tack on all this stuff, but that glass of wine that goes with the entree, well, now I need it quicker or now I need it later. And so I hope I'm a pretty understanding diner and I care a lot for the chefs in the restaurant and the servers. And you know what I mean? Like this is a whole enterprise that I have a lot of respect for. And so left up to my own devices, I would love to be able to order my own food and in the order that I want it. But I'm never like I don't feel as though I'm being treated like a child. Some of my friends feel like they're being talked down to.
That's so fascinating to me. I've never perceived it that way. I've also never had the experience where a restaurant has asked for the entire order and then the meal has felt very rushed.
Yeah.
So to me that, I think if it was that way, I would not be for it. But to me, it always has felt really appropriately paced.
But if you have regrets, are you not allowed to change your order at all? Or is the kitchen going crazy if you do that?
I mean, it's a great question. Can you change up your stuff? Yes, probably, but it feels as though you're not supposed to.
In my experience, yes. I mean, restaurants above all else focus on hospitality. And so I think you're going to be hard pressed to find a place that is like not going to give you the experience that you want. But I do think part of the intention behind this, I would guess, I'm sure you both have sat down with a group of people before and the server comes to ask after an appropriate amount of time what you guys would like to eat. And people are like, I don't know.
We were just talking.
Right. And imagine doing that over at least 3 courses,
yes.
Right? And that can be quite a time suck for restaurants. And also just kind of throw off the workflow in the kitchen.
That's fair.
And so I think generally what it's used for is a way to help them keep their timing in order, but still allow room for flexibility and spontaneity.
I'll add just one more thing. When restaurants do this, I think the server's attitude is everything. The server who comes in and says, you're in great hands. I've tried everything here. I would love to make some recommendations. And then I'm going to make sure that this order of courses is just right so that you feel good and everything tastes right and it arrives hot and beautiful. When somebody gives you a pitch like that, you're thinking, oh, this sounds fun. So I think a lot of it is just in the attitude of the server.
Such a good point. We want to hear from listeners what they think about all of this because we know that you guys have thoughts. So email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. And that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to visit dallasnews.com/food for all the latest food news. Special thanks to our producer, Julie Fisk. For the news, I'm Claire Baller. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you back here next week.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.